Science and God have always been at odds with each other. Is the world just science, or is there a God, or some spiritual side to the world? I come from the scientific side and follow no specific religion, but I've come across a problem with my logical reasoning and want to see what others think. So I have two questions that I first need to ask. Question 1. Do you believe in a purely logical universe? Do you believe that the universe follows the laws of physics alone and is not subject to any external influences such as a god, spirituality, or magic? Pause the video here, if you wish, before you commit yourself to an answer. This may not be as simple a question as you may think, but it is key. Question 2. Do you have free will? Now, I don't mean you control everything about your life, but within your own mind, do you make your own decisions freely? Okay, so what if you said no to question 1? Well then, your mind is open to the vast complexities of the world, and also to its unknown aspects. You may be religious, or if not, you have that capacity. You don't need to watch further unless you are curious. All you scientifically minded people who said yes, carry on. If you said yes to question 1 and no to question 2, then you may have a very negative outlook on life. Feeling like you have no control over anything in your life is not healthy or even true. Surely you choose what you have for breakfast every day. Okay, so yes to both questions. You are who I really want to talk to, as I used to think like this too. Let's start by showing a little example to illustrate the first question. So here is our logical universe. Planets fly around each other, obeying the laws of physics. Water flows in a predictable way, even though we can't actually predict it precisely ourselves. Even people follow these physical constraints. We fall if we are dropped, we cry if we are hurt, and we fall in love because of the chemicals in our brains and all the external influences we are bombarded with. Yes, don't forget, the world is logical. Therefore, emotions are just a combination of physical events and whatever chemical and electrical activity is going on in our minds. The world is complicated, but logical. So what if we had a machine that could record the universe in a split second? It takes a snapshot of every physical attribute in the universe when you press a button. Going with a perfectly logical world scenario, what would happen if we could replay that recorded moment? What would happen if we could take that recording of that moment in time and replace it over the universe, setting it back to exactly how it was when we took the recording? In the logical world, it would play out in exactly the same way as before, because we recorded every physical attribute perfectly. A dice roll would always come out the same number. A wave would crash against a rock in exactly the same way. You would have the same argument with your partner and come to the same conclusions at the end. Everything is predictable in the logical world. Can you see where I'm going? Okay, let's look at the second question, free choice. But hang on, haven't we just described a universe that can only have one possible outcome? In the same way that if we put 3 apples in a bag, then you will only be able to take 3 apples out of that bag? It is just the only possible outcome? In fact, from the moment the world came into existence, the future had already been defined, as everything in it would follow its logical, normal path. So what is free choice? It's the belief that we make a decision in our own mind. We make the judgment ourselves. It is not the work of others, or even a God. It is our reasoning. And if we didn't think this, then we'd be going around thinking we weren't in control of anything. But we know that we are, right? We don't believe in something as limiting as destiny, a path that is already set out before us, a path that we cannot change. So here's the dilemma. One belief defines a single linear path to life, and the other believes we have control of it, and are not just reacting to chemicals in our brain. But we can't believe both. So which belief do you throw out? The world is fully logical, or the belief that you have some control of your life? Do you really want to believe that you have no control of your future? No, that's just impossible. I know I make choices. Here's my thought. I say the world isn't fully logical, and it is one linear path. But we and the world decide where this linear path goes. Physics isn't totally in control. We have control too. We are not just physics. I say there is something that is and always will be intangible that influences our world. It could be our emotions. It could be our souls. It could be God. It could even be magic. But it's there, and you just need to remind yourself that it is there. And then you can remind yourself that you're not alone. There is something else out there. So you don't need all the answers, because you never get the answers to the really important questions. Why did they die? Why am I so in love with this person? There is always something out there, or inside us, that is totally unpredictable and completely special. And you experience it every moment of your life. It is you and your emotions. So we could call this intangible thing God. But that's not really important. That's just semantics. So is God something outside us, or part of us? Who knows? But you don't need the answer. Just observe the results.